Welcome to the zone. On an early Monday morning to get your week started, we will do the recaps of the NFL, scores, and highlights. Coming up next on In the Zone Sports Talk with your host, Anthony Smith. So sit back, relax for the next 30 to 45 minutes as we recap you on everything that happened in the NFL and get you ready for tonight's game. So that's coming up next on In the Sports Zone podcast with yours truly, Anthony Smith. So let's get this party started now. So welcome in on a Monday morning to get your work week started, get you ready for some Monday Night Football tonight because we got the big game tonight between the Cowboys without Dak Prescott. What can Andy Dalton do taking on the upstart Arizona Cardinals led by Kyler Murray and their stud receiver DeAndre Hopkins? But let's get you brought up to speed up on yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday football.
One-on-one, it is bobbled and might have been intercepted. Hitting it up against his back is Marcus May. That's an incredible interception by Marcus May. The Jets get a takeaway as Marcus May, one-on-one coverage, was somehow able to jostle the ball away and pin it up against his own back and keep the ball off the ground as he outfought Preston Williams. Play fake to him. Newton off the snap, looking downfield. He's going to be drilled from behind, and Cam Newton is brought down back at the 48-yard line. Nobody open, holding on for a long time before Anthony Chickolo, the longtime Steeler, brings him down. Cam's got to see that. Sanders, big hole, 30, 40. He's out to midfield. Ravens 40, 30. He's to the 20-yard line, cuts back at the numbers of the 10, fumbles the ball into the end zone, and it's recovered by the Eagles for a touchdown. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside came up with a loose ball.
Mayfield to throw. Does so over the middle. Intercepted at the 34-yard line. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Pick six from Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Minkah Fitzpatrick is a guy that has had a huge impact on this team in 2019.
You fight for your dreams.
Well, those were just some of the highlights condensed into that one roll. And some of the music that you heard, well, let's just say one of the main highlights that you didn't hear game audio from was the New York Giants and the Washington football team. Which, by the way, the New York Giants found a way to win that game. But that play was a fake that faked out even the cameraman on a run by Daniel Jones that resulted in a touchdown. So how about, for starts, and I'm talking NFL, but how about a little bit of baseball as Bellinger struts his stuff in grand fashion? How about the Atlanta Braves blowing a 3-1 lead? I guess the only consolation is the Atlanta Falcons won their game yesterday. because the city of Atlanta has nothing to be happy about.
Hernandez hits one in the air, left center field. This game is tied. On the 8th pitch, his 8th career postseason home run, and it's 3-3 in the 6th inning of Game 7. Much worse. Freddie Freeman lifts this one way up there. It's like Betts didn't see it at first. Now goes back. Johnson, he does it again. Mookie putting his stamp all over the NLCS defensively. Pitch has been the magic one tonight. This time he hits the ball to deep right field. Cody Bellinger has done it, and the Dodgers lead in Game 7. They come from behind in Game 7, and they win the National League pennant.
Yes, the Dodgers did it. Coming down from behind 3-1 to win the National League Championship Series, to punch their ticket to the World Series. Well, let's get on to the NFL and see what happened. First of all, you need to know that King Henry, not King James, but King Henry, carries the Titans in overtime.
Henry breaks a tackle, 15-20. He's on the move, 30, 35, 40, cutting left to 50. Henry's going to go all the way down the left sideline, 15, 10, 5, coast to coast. Derrick Henry, 94 yards.
That is why he's a Heisman winner.
Tight here, and Watson fakes to give. And he airs it out long, deep
Wide
downfield.
open.
Wide open is Fuller. Rock and roll. Touchdown, Houston. The Texans tie it up and can take the lead with an extra point.
Boy, they bust coverage. Malcolm Butler.
Shotgun, gets the snap. He's running left. Henry to the goal line.
Wow.
He's in. Game over. The Titans win.
They waited all game long to do it and sprung it.
So yes, as you can plainly see, the Titans come away with the victory in the game against there we go. Here we go. Against the Texans. However, the Texans, since they've fired Bill O'Brien, seems to have proved their offense looks to be a little bit more, I don't want to say potent, but looks to be a little bit more fluid. But they came up short in the overtime game, going down in overtime, 42-36 to the Titans. The Bengals and the Colts. And what can we say about that game? Well, let's just say the Bengals looked like they had some fight in them, but they came up just short, falling 31-27 to the Colts. There is talks that Kirk Cousins could possibly be benched if he doesn't clean up his interceptions. And how about this? The Falcons hang on to a lead and come away with a victory. As a matter of fact, Julio Jones was spotted. 8 catches, 100+ yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, as the Falcons beat the Vikings 40-23. In a game that was just downright ugly for the Patriots, seeing Cam Newton get sacked a few times, the Broncos knocks off the Patriots, thus extending Cam Newton's misery against the Broncos. The last time Cam Newton saw the Broncos was in the Super Bowl, and we know how that turned out. Well, this outcome went no better. Different uniform, same result. Broncos beat the Patriots 18-12. In a game that I had the highlights for you on, the Giants come away with a victory. Squeak by. Remember the song, I Rode Into Town on a Horse with No Name? Well, the Giants stole a game from a team with no name, the Washington football team, 20-19. And the Eagles, with their highlights, still came up just short, as they got knocked off by the Philadelphia Eagles. The Ravens knocks off the Philadelphia Eagles, 30-28. How did the Browns do? The Browns seemed like they were riding a pretty good hot streak. Basically beating teams they were supposed to beat. But they ran up against a curtain, known as the Steel Curtain. And the Browns came crumbling back down to earth. Apparently Baker Mayfield got hurt in the game, which led to Stefanski saying, if Baker is not injured as bad and is able to play, he is still their starting quarterback. However, the Browns are reeling because they went down to defeat 38-7 against that steel curtain known as the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is it time to start taking the Chicago Bears serious as a playoff contender? They're steady finding ways to win, as they came out on top yesterday, knocking off the Panthers, declawing the Panthers 23-16. And now, don't look, but now the Detroit Lions have figured out how to win now. The Lions chained the Jaguars 34-16. And in a game between the Dolphins and the Jets, you could not get no more dysfunctional than the Jets. Now you have coaches bickering amongst themselves. And if the coaches is bickering amongst themselves, you know there can't be no team unity. There can't be no team chemistry. What does it all add up to? It all adds up to the Dolphins hanging a goose egg on the Jets, as Miami knocked off the New York Jets 24-0. In a game that's all a pick six and first turnovers for this team all season long, you couldn't have picked the worst time to do it. However, the quarterback of the losing team said this loss might have did them some good. Yep, the Packers finally lost. The Packers were humbled as they ran into a buzzsaw. Not only was it a game of first for one team, it was also a game of first for another team. Tom Brady rediscovered Rob Gronkowski as the Buccaneers knocked off the Packers 38-10. And in the late night game, pitted the 49ers against the Rams. Battle for the Bay. And the 49ers come out victorious. As if the 49ers didn't need a victory, they found a good time to get one. Coming away once again with that victory, 24-6. And it looks like we have a 4 p.m. game scheduled on Fox between the Chiefs and the Bills. And also tonight, We have the Cowboys and the Cardinals. That game is at 7 p.m. So we're pretty much getting a Monday double hitter. So what can we expect to see as far as the Cowboys versus the Cardinals? Well, we need to find out why Andy Dalton and the Cowboys have a shot at beating the Cardinals.
With you to talk Monday Night Football. The Cardinals taking on the Cowboys. Of course, we will see Andy Dalton in action instead of the injured Dak Prescott. Interesting to see what he's able to do. Mina Kimes and Marcus Spears here. Mina, who are you picking?
I'm going with Dallas, and here's why. The defense finally showed up against New York. DeMarcus Lawrence, Jalen Smith, those players who have not played up to their contracts this season, finally showed the kind of effort expected out of them. I think that should continue this week against Arizona.
I'm going Arizona, and a little bit of backstory. Kyler Murray is from Allen, Texas, went to Allen High School. He'll be 35 minutes away on Monday night in Texas. Kyler Murray is going to have one of his better games because he's returning home, baby, with those offensive weapons that he has as well. I'm taking them. This is a battle of the bad defenses, so I'm going to take the offense that I think is going to show up better, and it'll be the Arizona Cardinals.
I like it. And Kyler set all kinds of records in Texas high school football there, too.
So there you have the hot takes on the Cardinals going into their game against the Cowboys. And I have to admit, I like the makeup of that Arizona team. I really do. But as always, me being a Cowboys fan, I like them, but not at the expense of the Cowboys. But I'm looking forward to seeing a good game. I'm looking forward to seeing how Dallas will game plan, not having Dak in. What is expected of Andy Dalton? I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Andy Dalton, though, is expected to just really carry this team. And he's expected to make good decisions, which I think that he can do. We seen Ezekiel trying to get close to flirting with the 100-yard rushing mark last week. So maybe he has an extra incentive. Maybe this is something that was needed to get Ezekiel Elliott going. Like to say, the defense, even though they surrendered the points that they did to the Giants, they showed up, started putting pressure on the quarterback. So it just all depends. As you heard it said there in the commentary there, it's a battle of the bad defenses, so which offense is going to produce the most? And the one thing that Andy Dalton has going for him that obviously he has over Philadelphia, over Cincinnati. Even though he was in Cincinnati, he has some disgruntled, undisciplined players. Not saying that the Cowboys is the most disciplined, but from a talent standpoint, this is the most talent, especially at the wide receiver core that Andy Dalton has had at his disposal. Then you have an Ezekiel Elliott you can turn around and hand the ball off to. So at best, Andy Dalton, most likely, will be in the role of just pretty much managing the game, steadying the ship, not making mistakes. I mean, yes, you're going to make, but don't make those untimely mistakes. I mean, going into the game, the leaders that you want to look at right now, I mean, stat-wise, the Cowboys are still led passing yards. It's not even a joke. I mean, Kyler Murray, thus far, is 126 of 181 for 1,299 yards, 8 TDs, 6 interceptions. The injured Dak Prescott, his stats look like this. Of 222 passes, 151 of them are complete with 1,856 yards, 9 TDs against only 4 interceptions. Keon Drake, 85 carries for 314 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, 89 carries, 364 yards, and 5 TDs. Top receivers, this is a no-brainer coming in. DeAndre Hopkins, 45 receptions, 528 yards, 2 TDs. But not too far behind. Now, he has a way to catch up for him, has a way to catch up as far as receptions. But CeeDee Lamb, the rookie, who is benefiting from the plethora of receivers that the Cowboys do have, 29 receptions, 433 yards, 2 TDs. The game tonight will be played at AT&T Stadium. And if you want your tickets, you can get them starting as low as $120 at Buy Cowboys Ticket with Vivid Seats. The injury report, first for the Cardinals, DJ Humphries, offensive tackle, questionable. Devin Kennard, linebacker, questionable. Dennis Gardak, linebacker, questionable. And Kylie Fitz, linebacker, he is ruled as out for the game. The injury report for the Cowboys, no players reported as being injured outside of Dak Prescott. So if you're looking at the money line, point spread is like this. -1 for the Cardinals, +1 Cowboys. Money line, -115. Cardinals, 105. Cowboys. The over-under is 55. So hopefully that gets you started. Let's look at the team breakdown, team statistics. The Cardinals come in averaging 25.6 points a game. The Cowboys, 32.6. Points allowed, though, the Cardinals are allowing 20.4 points a game. The Cowboys are giving up 36 points a game. Total yards, 400.8 to 502.2. Passing yards, 259.8 to 395.6 for the Cowboys. Yards rushing, the Cardinals, 141 yards rushing in the game. The Cowboys, 106.6 yards rushing in the game. Yards allowed. The Cardinals are allowing 368.8 yards a game. Passing yards allowed, 244.6 yards a game. And rushing yards, 124.2 yards a game. Sounds as if maybe the Cowboys can get their running game off the ground. However, the flip side, the Cowboys are allowing 413.2 yards a game. 257.4 passing yards allowed, 155.8 rushing yards. Does not bode well. So there's what you have to look forward to as far as the Cowboys versus the Cardinals. In the other game to look forward to, you have the Bills versus the Chiefs. At game time, it's 4 p.m. Both teams come in with a 4-1 record. Your main statistical leaders, passing yards, Patrick Mahomes, 123 of 193, 1,474 yards, 13 TDs already, with only 1 interception. Jared Allen for the Bills, 131 of 189 for 1,589 yards, 14 TDs, 3 interceptions. These guys are flinging the ball around. Rushing yards, Clyde Hilaire-Edwards, 81 carries, 344 yards, 1 TD. And Singletary, 61 carries, 238 yards, 1 TD. Receiving yards, Travis Kelce, 32 receptions, 405 yards, 3 TDs. Stephon Diggs, 36 receptions, 509 yards, 2 TDs. So they are really utilizing Stephon Diggs in Buffalo. The injury report. For Kansas City, Michael Schwartz, offensive tackle, he's questionable. Wide receiver, Sammy Watkins, he is ruled out. For the Buffalo Bills, Dawson Knox, tight end, he's ruled out for the next game. And then the next 4 players are all ruled questionable, which is Matt Milano, linebacker, Tre'Davious White, cornerback, John Brown, wide receiver, Quentin Spain, guard. So let's look at the pick center. The spread, -5.5 KC, +5.5 Buffalo. The money line, minus 238 on Kansas City, plus 195 Buffalo. The over-under, 55.5. So now let's look at the team stats and what you can look forward to moving forward to get yourself ready for this game. So, here we go with these stats now. Team stats. Points per game. Kansas City comes in averaging 29.8 points a game. Buffalo Bills 27.8. Points allowed per game. Kansas City is allowing 22 points per game. Buffalo 28.4 points a game. Total yards. Kansas City is averaging 414.2 yards per game to Buffalo's 416 yards a game. Passing yards. Kansas City is averaging 294.8 yards a game and averaging 119.4 yards rushing. Buffalo is averaging 322.2 passing yards, 93.8. So it sounds like you can just make them one-dimensional. The question is, can you stop them? That's going to all hinge on how Tyrann Mathieu plays it and has that secondary plan. Yards allowed. Kansas City is giving up almost 400 yards a game as they are allowing 397.2 yards, 239.6 through the air, 157.6 on the ground. So if Buffalo can get a running game going, they'd be all right. Buffalo is allowing 382.6 yards a game, allowing 274 yards passing and only 108.6 rushing. So there you have the statistical breakdown on Buffalo versus Kansas City, in which you can look forward to. This game will be played October the 19th at 4 p.m. at Orchard Park, and they're calling for game time temperature to be around 50 with some precipitation in the forecast. So there you have it to get you set for the early game, which is Kansas City against Buffalo. So I hope this gets your Monday football juices flowing. Hopefully your team was one of the ones that came away with victory on Sunday. If not, there's always next week. But until next time, this is In the Zone Sports Talk with Anthony Smith. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be back with you again soon. So have a wonderful day. Be blessed. Be a blessing.